Hey my Nellies, and welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. So I am just a regular person. I'm not a nail tech. Everything that I've learned from watching YouTube videos, watching other people's techniques, and trial and error. But I do love to play with nail products, so I haven't done a video in quite a while. I had developed gel and acrylic allergies, so I was not able to use any kind of products to extend my nail other than like press-ons. And honestly, I just had such a struggle trying to keep those on. I've actually found a product that I have no reactions to, and I'm so excited about it. It is called Elegance. It is a bit more on the expensive side as opposed to what I learned to do nails with. I would just get cheap things off Amazon or AliExpress, those kind of things, not realizing the chemical reactions that you can have to lesser quality products. That's not to say that those can't be used by people who are skilled. However, I recommend, if you are learning to do your nails like I am, go ahead and spend the money and buy the products that are more expensive, because typically they are going to have less chemicals that are harmful to you and have the capability of giving you an allergy. So that's my 2 cents worth. But anyway, I bought like a little starter kit, and it came with their cleanser, and I've already taken off the old gel color that I had, and you can see I've taken it down to pretty much the base and worked on the parts that had kind of come up with my e-file. I'm not very skilled with my e-file, so I did that off camera. But basically, you just want to give them a good scrub, if you will. And I am horrible at gel application. This is not my thing. I learned more acrylic, so it's a learning process, but it's fun. Alright, so I have Pink Builder and I have Perfect White. These are hard gels that do have to be sanded off. They won't soak off unless you get them like down to where they're so thin that, you know, they're almost invisible. I have a number 4 oval bling brush from Elegance. I have their product. This is one of their adhesion products, and let me tell you, I wore this set of nails that I had on for 2 weeks with no lifting, no chipping, no peeling. I have never had that experience, even with some other reputable brands. So I am impressed with Elegance. But basically, you just want a little, just a tiny amount. I mean, it spreads out so well, and I make sure to get up there into the cuticle area and the sidewalls without getting it on my skin if I can help it. You don't want to get it on your skin, because even though it's safer, it's still a chemical. And we're just going to rub that on, kind of scratch it into the surface, and you can see you really can't even see it. It does have sort of a smell. If you've ever used no lift nails, you know, that kind of, I don't know, bring you in a little bit weird kind of smell. It does have that kind of smell, so it is a little smelly, but nothing too bad. And I had some lifting on this finger, but honestly only after I began filing. Like, the nail was intact, it was sticking well, and I'm hard on my hands. So alright, so we've got that coat on. I'm going to go under the light for 60 seconds. I apologize, it was 30 seconds instead of 60 on the tack. So I've never done a baby boomer nail. I don't know that I can, but I'm going to try. So here's the pink. It's really pretty. And here is the Perfect White. Again, really pretty. I'm going to do the white. Let me make sure I don't have any of that on my glove. get less product. I think I gobbed on way too much. And basically I just want to color the tip with this white. I don't really care about the foundation or any of that because I'm going to use clear to build it with. But pardon my shaking, sorry. Edges capped. Alright, I'd say that's pretty good. Now I'm going to wipe off this ombre brush again, and this time I'm just going to try to fan down the white just a little. And now I'm going to go into the light for a flash cure, maybe like 10 seconds. Okay? Now I'm going to go back into that pink. Again, coming to the back third, I would say. And just placing that little dollop there. I'm just going to try to make a little ridge, a little hump. Then I'm going to take the very tip bristles and just try to push that back near my cuticle. Created a ledge here that I need to fix. And now I'm trying to leave the majority of the product right here in the center. And we're just going to barely drag that down over the light. It's not perfect at all. I'm going to turn my finger over and give it a second to level. Okay. So it really didn't level like I wanted it to. Here I go with my striper. I'm coming all the way down that butter. You want your nails done? And on that note, he's gone. Okay. I'll flip it over again. And that's absolutely not perfect. I'm going to have to do some filing, but I'm going into the light for 60 and I'll be back. All right, so there we have it. I'll have to finish filing, wipe it off. And actually, I'm going to go ahead, because I don't want to accidentally touch that and get it on my skin. So I'm just going to use a little bit of their cleanser. Go ahead and clean under it, the sides, and I'm honestly really giving it a good little scrub there. I'm kind of trying not to go back up onto my skin, but more going downward like that. That's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of them, and then I'll show you what they look like, and then we'll do the filing and I'll show you what that looks like. So stick with me. So anyway, I'm on the third nail, and I think I figured out a speedier technique. So what I'm doing is I'm going ahead and just barely putting any white. I think that's what I did wrong here. I put way too much white and it looks terrible. I'm going to cover it up. But anyway, this nail looks much better. So I'm just going to barely apply any white, and just down near the bottom. And I'm going to do all my white first, and then I'll come back, and that'll save me from cleaning my brush in between each time also, so that'll save time. Okay, so I've got my white on. I'm going to take my little ombre brush, just lightly kind of try to feather it down. I hope I'm still in the frame there. I'm not even worried about it being straight or any of that. I don't care, because the pink hopefully is going to cover most of that. And I'm just trying to make that as thin as I can. Just the thinnest. Application. And we'll give it just a minute to self-level. And into the light. 10 seconds. Let's get that pinky. Oh, I see a fuzzy. Probably where my cat jumped up here. Okay. Again, teeny tiniest amount. I feel like even that's too much. streakiness to it, but into the light. Never realized that doing a baby boomer nail would be this difficult. I think it's kind of been hard. But again, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just playing. So I figure the more I play and practice, the better I'll get. It's like with acrylic. That was a nightmare to learn too, but I do feel like acrylic is a whole lot easier for me anyway to work with than gel. At least right now. We're going to call that good, and we're going to go in the light. I am going to look at that. So pretty. Don't frame me in. It's a glitter gel. Just going to try to take some of this off the lid. It's just kind of the same technique. Just make the little ridge and kind of try to coax it down near your sidewalls and your cuticle. And then gently drag it. A lot of glitter. That's cute. I like that a lot. Made this look not so bad. Okay. I'm going to go under the light now for 60 seconds and give that a full cure, and I'll be back. Okay, so now that I have all my white down, my glitter is down, I'll fix that with some clear. I'm going to move back to the pink. Now, this is kind of where everything goes bad for me. Don't really know what I'm doing wrong. Let me, oops, take you out just a little. Now, right here, I watch people do this, and this is what they do, just make a little hump. And then just work it back toward the cuticle. Just kind of runs back down away from my cuticle once I get it up there where I want it. I can't seem to get it to stay there. Into the apex area. hard on that. I want that pink to come down over that, but just barely. Okay. Let's flip it over. Area right. Make their striper. It's still not great, but I'm going into the light. 60 seconds. Okay. Moving on. And grab that pink again. There's a hump in that. Again, I'm going to have to do a lot of filing. I don't know how the people make this look so easy, the nail techs that do this, and like the educators on that Elegance, they just slap them on there in no time. They have a whole hand done in the time it's taking me to do one nail. I put a ton of product on there, that's way too much. Okay. And I've got a fuzzy. Okay. I feel like that one did a little better. Take my striper brush. Turn it over. I mean, again, not perfect at all, but it's definitely better than this one. Look at that. Can you see the lumps and bumps? Into the light for 60. I know they've all right. Final finger with the pink. Oh, fuzzies everywhere. Strapper. I'll tell you, another element that's making this extra challenging is trying to do it on camera. Trying to stay in the frame and all that. Giving me an extra little challenge. So, I've got all that on. I've got my pink and white. So I thought I would just go in and see what crown minim look like. Okay, let's try it again. I'm even going to do it to the glitter nail. Why not? Why not just try all the things? That is pretty. I'm just going to take my gloved finger to rub it in. I don't know if you can really even see that on camera, but the first thing you can see the little shimmer. It's almost the pinky kind of a color. Very subtle. Cute. It's also kind of helping to hide my imperfect attempt at baby boomer nails there too. I didn't do the best job. But you know what? Practice makes perfect. So we'll just keep doing it until we can do it. Okay. There's just a little shimmer. If you've been watching me any time at all, you know I have to have something sparkly. Something. One nail at least. I'm like a magpie. If it glitters or shines, I like it. Okay. Now I'm going to take this dusty brush away over here off camera and do it because I don't want to get dust particles into my gel that's sitting there open. And that brush almost made it outline pink. Huh. I'm using the one step. And the one step I think works as a base, builder, and top. Oh, you technically don't have to top coat it, but I will because I'm going to have to do, like I said, a lot of filing. If you're good with your gel application, you shouldn't have to do that. So basically, I want to encapsulate the glitter, of course, and the chrome. But mainly, I want to try to feel these lumps and bumps out and fix my apex a little. So that's what I'm trying here. I don't know. I'm not having real good success with it so far, but and just from working with the gel so far, like this is the one step, and like I said, the one I used last time was Extreme, and I do feel like the Extreme was much easier to apply because it didn't run as much. Like it kind of stayed where you put it. This is a little more mobile, but I've got the products, so I kind of want to try them all. All the little samples that I got anyway, the small little kit that I bought. Fit from the hump. Do you see the hump? And I'm going to go right down the center and see. Sorry, I had to come off camera because I'm in such a strange angle. I'm trying to touch my nail. Just couldn't do it. Can you see? It's still got a lump here. And I have to turn my hand sideways to see that. And so, it's making it really difficult to try to fix. And be on camera, too. I'll apply more. And I'm going to paint it down. And come back up here. Don't like much of flooding that cuticle. But if I can just even out these lumps right here. Oh, I think that's much better. Alright. I'm going to take my striper down that sidewall. Down this sidewall. And then I'm going to turn it over. So let's see. Not perfect, but honestly, that is good enough for me at this moment. on my skin before I cure it. Again, if I did get any on there, I am going to do I still have to file, so we'll get it. But I think that's as good as that one's going to get. I'm going to go into the aiming on to the middle finger. To me, I feel like I'm using a ton of product, but honestly, maybe the issue is I'm not using enough, and when I drag it down, I'm taking away the apex, pretty much, because I'm not putting enough on there to start with. I don't know if that's true, but shaky, shaky. And just turn my finger kind of sideways where I can see. Kind of right here is where I would want my apex for this length. It's not perfect, but it is getting better. It is not perfect. I feel like it's probably the best one so far. Okay, so the clear coat is on all the nails. Now it's time for shaping and filing. I'm going to clean all my nails again to get the sticky layer off, inhibition layer. Just using that scrubby downward motion. I'm going to kind of get under there too. Something sticky underneath the nail ridge. Okay, so that's what we're working with now. And this has been seasoned, and this is just a Beauty Secrets Sally Beauty 100-180 grit. And I'm going to shape around my sides. And that is one thing too. Gel is much softer, even hard gel that has to be filed off is much softer than acrylic. And I have a dust collector, but I'm not dragging it out. We're just going to roll with it today. And really, all I'm concerned with at this moment is my side wells, side walls, and this underneath portion there. I did pretty good about not getting too much on my skin, so that's a good thing. So, I don't know, people may not do this, but I don't like to feel texture underneath, like that right there. If I can feel that, I'm going to pick that. So that's why I'm doing that, just the little places that the gel may have globbed up and made a little hump. That's why I'm doing that. And we'll worry about finish filing and all that after we do this right here. So again, coming down the side wall, straight. But see how easy that files, the gel? I mean, it's really soft and just a lot easier to file than acrylic. So technically you could do all your finish filing with a hand file, But today, I think I'm going to, because I've got so many humps and bumps, I think I'm going to get my e-file. So hang on, I'm going to grab that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my e-file, and I have an extra fine bit. I think that's from Melody Susie. And you can see I've used it quite a bit. And I'm going to turn this on to like 7,000 RPMs. And again, honestly, I should have a mask on, and I should have my dust collector out, but I don't. So this is so fine. I mean, it just barely sands. So if you didn't get your cuticles perfect, it kind of helps you. And another thing too that I've learned is, if it's easier if you just kind of feather. I'm not putting any pressure on this tool at all. Like, it's doing all the work. I'm just holding it and very gently touching that nail. Just letting it dance over the nail. Very light. Kind of bound up here. There we go, that's better. But I don't know if you can see that. Actually, what I'm doing, and honestly, it may fall through and take off that coat of chrome that I did. If it does, it's okay. I'm just trying to learn to use the gel. So if it does, it does. But if you look right here, you can see there's a lip right there. I'm going to sand that away. I'm going to sand all this away. And if you're growing out your natural nails, don't do this, because you will fall off your nail. I don't really care at the moment. I'm just, again, trying to learn to use the gel. So you basically, it's kind of like when you're prepping to put your nails product on, like to put your extensions on or whatever you're doing, acrylic, whatever. I'm basically removing the shine, but also it's removing those little imperfections, so that when I put my top coat on, or if you wanted to polish over this with a color, if you do a really good job with this, then the mistakes are not going to show up as bad when you put your color on. Because I'll tell you, the buttercream that they have from Light Elegance, it's kind of going to tell on you. I found that out the other day. I had to go back and totally redo a nail because it looked awful. Now, we're getting there. I'm not going to try to completely finish file with the e-file. Mostly, I want to get around the cuticle and the sidewalls. So right here, I'm going to turn my nail e-file off, and I'm going to turn it to reverse and turn it back on. Because I have a hard time for some, I guess where I shake, where I do shake, this helps me to go around that cuticle and get it, because it's in the opposite direction. And instead of dragging it toward myself, I'm dragging it away. And I don't know how many times I've cut myself right there trying to get this corner. And I just thought that was a genius tip that I learned from no, it's actually Young Nails, one of their educators. So just turn your drill in the opposite direction and get that part. So that's what I do. And really what I should have done is done all that I could going in forward, and then switched over and did the remaining portions of each nail going in reverse. But we almost have an apex. Almost. Not quite. Okay. So that's pretty much what I wanted to remove with the e-file. Turn that off. These little sander buffer things, and there's like a 150 side, 100 side, 150 side, and they come in different different strengths, different file strengths. I think I got these on like AliExpress or somewhere. I really love them. They're good. They do a pretty good job at smoothing out your nail. It's pretty good. But I'm going to go back to my file and just go right around my cuticle. So I want that as thin as I can get it without taking away the product. So again, I'm just barely touching it. Because you can, even with the hand file, you can destroy your skin. And again, it's trial and error. And really, you really should do your own nails just to see, you know. It's like using the e-file is scary, even on myself. I'm still intimidated by it a little bit. So I really don't like to do my cuticles with it. I have the bit, but I just still don't trust myself 100%. Especially because I do have the trimmer. Alright, now I have foamy. And this one is from a brand called Fairy Glamour. I used to get their acrylic because it's super beautiful, and they had like a monthly subscription that you got two jars, and it was relatively inexpensive, and it was beautiful. But again, I developed my allergy, so I had to give up all that. So I'm ecstatic to be able to have a nail extension that is not a press-on. I mean, they have an acrylic kit with LE too that I'd love to try. They have a little trial one that you can get for like 50 bucks. I think it's 50 bucks. And I may invest in that just to see, but again, this is just my second manicure. I don't want to jinx myself and say, oh, no reactions, and then have a big flare up, because it is one of the most horrible things that you could ever have. Eczema, I mean, your hands, they split, they bleed, they blister, It's painful. It's just horrible. They itch. So, but there is a finished file nail. I need to clean it. And you can see it is a little thick. I could go in and thin that out just a little. I'm going to. I don't like my tip quite that thick. Because when you're trying to pick up something, it's really hard when they're real thick. Go back under here. Back under there. Okay, we're ready to clean that nail. Now it doesn't matter which way you wipe because there's no uncured gel. You know, no inhibition layers there. There's nothing to get on your nail or hurt you. So there's still a little chrome left, but it did for the most part take off all the chrome. One little imperfection there I didn't like. Okay, now we're going to go in with one of their top coats. They have several, but this one's called Super Shiny, and it is super shiny. It does have an inhibition layer. They have another one that does not. It's a no wipe, and I'd like to have that one too at some point. And again, same thing with this. You just kind of create that little ridge. Cuticle area and the sidewalls as best you can, as close as you can without getting it on your skin. And I don't know if you all see, but I have really deep nail, like sidewalls, and that's kind of problematic in and of itself, just because the product kind of wants to run down under that ridge of skin anyway. And we're going to make sure we cap our edge. Make sure I didn't get it on my skin. And that everything is covered. I think we are good. I'm going to go into the light before it gets any more gloopier. Okay, so I did a full 1 minute cure. I got a bubble there. I don't know if you can see that. And again, this also has a sticky layer and an inhibition layer. So I need to invest in a bigger bottle of their cleanser, I guess. Just wiping that downward. And I'm going to get under here too, on the sides. So I had put away my Chiarosky lamp and dust collector because I wasn't able to use it. So I'll probably drag that back out and keep it handy for the next time that I do a set of nails, I won't have dust everywhere. But this is just playing. But yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with that. That's not horrible. Not perfect, but it's not horrible. So I'm gonna finish file the rest of these, clean them up, put a top coat on, and I'll show you the final product. So stick with me. Now, I've got them all finished filed. I was gonna go ahead and top coat, and then I thought, why not just go ahead and stamp. So I'm only going to do the one nail, a really pretty hot pink. Goodness, that is so cute. Take some tape. Trying to get it off with tape, but if it doesn't, I can get it with some acetone. It's no big deal. Now I am going to top coat, and I'll be back. Move all this stuff out of the way, and there you have it. There's the finished manicure. One hand anyway. Not perfect, but not too bad. I like it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Leave comments. Stop back by and see me again. Bye. Merry Christmas.